Welcome to our Sci-Fi Story channel. We'd be thrilled if you subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon to support us, allowing us to bring you more stories in this genre.
Lyra Callahan peered through the sleek, transparent panel of her lab, the sprawling expanse of the alien landscape unfolding beneath the vibrant pink sky. Zenith Station buzzed with life, a harmonious blend of human innovation and the wild, untamed beauty of an alien world. Her heart raced with excitement. Today was not just another day in the lab, it was a turning point in her career as a xenobiologist. The planet, dubbed Lyra Prime by the interstellar scientific community, was a treasure trove of extraordinary life forms and unprecedented biological phenomena. Lyra's fingers danced across the control panel, adjusting the settings of her scanner, eager to analyze the latest data from the extraterrestrial specimens. Each new discovery felt like a key unlocking the mysteries of the universe, and Lyra was determined to be the one to unlock them all. Hey, Lyra. Did you hear about the new alien delegation arriving? Her assistant, Theo, called out, snapping her from her reverie. His voice was laced with a mix of enthusiasm and mischief, the kind that made Lyra smile despite herself. Not yet. What's the scoop? She replied, leaning back in her chair, curiosity piqued. They say the Zathri are bringing something special with them. Rumor has it, it's related to their reproduction, he said, raising an eyebrow as he leaned against the lab doorframe, a playful glint in his eye. Lyra's heart skipped. The Zathri, with their iridescent skin and multifaceted eyes, were known for their unique approach to biology, but reproduction? That was a realm she had only glimpsed through her research. If they were indeed sharing their secrets, this could change everything. A soft chiming interrupted her thoughts, signaling the arrival of the alien delegation. Lyra's pulse quickened as she straightened her lab coat and stepped towards the entrance. The air was thick with anticipation as the Zathri entered, their graceful forms gliding into the room like shimmering shadows. Lyra's breath caught in her throat as she took in their radiant presence. The lead Zathri, adorned with intricate patterns on its skin that seemed to pulse with life, approached her. Human Lyra Callahan, it spoke, its voice a melodic hum that resonated deep within her. We bring gifts of knowledge. Lyra's eyes widened, her mind racing with possibilities. What kind of knowledge? She managed to ask, her voice steady despite the storm of excitement brewing inside her. The Zathri extended a slender hand, presenting an artifact that glowed with a soft, ethereal light. It looked like a delicate sphere, swirling with colors that defied description. This holds the essence of our reproduction. It explained. It is a gateway to understanding our existence and perhaps yours. Lyra felt a thrill surge through her, the weight of the artifact resonating with her own curiosity. This was it, the moment she had longed for. She could delve into the heart of alien life, unraveling the secrets that connected them all. As she reached for the sphere, the lab around her faded, the hum of machinery and the chatter of her colleagues dissolving into the background. In that instant, she knew she was on the precipice of something monumental, a journey that would challenge everything she believed about life and connection. In that pulsating glow, Lyra sensed the promise of discovery, and the danger that lurked in the shadows. Eager to seize it for itself, the artifact sat on Lyra's lab bench, casting a soft, pulsating glow that seemed to breathe with life. Its luminescent surface shimmered like liquid glass, a tantalizing enigma waiting to be deciphered. Lyra leaned closer, her fingers trembling with anticipation. The Zathri had warned her of its significance, and she could feel the weight of its secrets pressing against her consciousness. Are you just going to stare at it all day, or are we going to dive in? Theo's voice broke through her reverie, a mixture of impatience and excitement. He was perched on the edge of a workstation, tapping his fingers rhythmically against the countertop. Lyra smirked, her resolve solidifying. Let's get to work. With a swift motion, she activated the lab's holographic interface, projecting data analysis tools into the air. The sphere responded, its colors shifting and swirling, as if reacting to her intent. The data began streaming across the interface, revealing complex patterns of light and energy that defied conventional understanding. Lyra's brow furrowed in concentration. It's unlike anything I've ever seen, she murmured, her mind racing to keep up with the information flooding her senses. The molecular structure. It's almost fluid. Theo leaned in, his eyes wide with curiosity. What does it mean? Is it a reproduction mechanism? More than that, Lyra said, her heart pounding. It's a hybrid of biological and technological systems. It appears to integrate genetic material from multiple sources, perhaps even combining traits from different species. This could revolutionize our understanding of reproduction itself. As they analyzed the data, the door slid open with a soft hiss, and an imposing figure entered, the head of the research division, Dr. Alaric Voss. His presence filled the room with an air of authority. "What are you two working on?" he asked, his eyes narrowing as he caught sight of the glowing artifact. "Dr. Voss, you need to see this," Lyra exclaimed, gesturing animatedly at the holographic display. "The Zathari gave us this artifact, and its potential for interspecies reproduction is incredible. We could redefine genetic research." Voss crossed his arms, skepticism etched on his face. "And what if it's dangerous? We don't fully understand what we're dealing with. The last thing we need is another incident." Lyra felt a chill run down her spine. The incident he referred to had been a catastrophic failure during an experiment with an untested alien compound, resulting in chaos and loss. But this was different. "I understand your concerns, but we must explore this. Think of the advancements we could achieve in medicine, genetics." "Enough," Voss interrupted, his tone sharp. "I won't allow you to proceed without oversight. We don't know what the Zathari truly want." As Voss turned to leave, Lyra's frustration boiled over. "This isn't about them. It's about discovery. We have the chance to unlock the secrets of life itself." But Voss was already gone, leaving Lyra and Theo in a bubble of tension. "What now?" Theo asked, concern etched on his face. Lyra took a deep breath, her determination solidifying. "We move forward, but we have to be careful. I won't let fear stifle our research." The glow of the artifact pulsed softly in agreement, and Lyra felt a surge of resolve. They were standing at the edge of something extraordinary, and she wasn't about to back down. Together, they would unravel the secrets of the Zathari and forge a new path in understanding life across the cosmos, no matter the cost. The sterile air of Zenith Station hummed with the relentless buzz of machinery, but for Lyra Callahan, it felt charged with something darker, a tension that seemed to cling to the walls like an unseen specter. Days had passed since she had first received the artifact from the Zathari, and the excitement of discovery had morphed into a gnawing anxiety. Every glance down the lab corridor was laced with the feeling of being watched, as if unseen eyes were tracing her every move. In the heart of her lab, Lyra immersed herself in the intricacies of the artifact, yet her mind often wandered to the looming presence of Dr. Alaric Voss. Despite his initial skepticism, she could sense his growing interest in the project, though his motivations were shrouded in a veil of caution that she didn't quite trust. And then there was the rival faction, the Ambrosian Collective, a group of rogue scientists led by the ambitious Dr. Malia Carries. Lyra knew all too well that they would stop at nothing to exploit any advantage they could find. The low hum of her computer interrupted her thoughts, a notification flickering across the screen. "Incoming message, Dr. Malia Carries." Lyra's heart raced as she hesitated, instinctively knowing that whatever the message contained would alter the course of her research. "Lyra. Darling," the screen lit up with Malia's smirk, her red hair cascading like fire over her shoulders. "I hope I'm not catching you at a bad time." The mock sweetness dripped from her voice like poison. "What do you want, Malia?" Lyra replied, her voice steady, but tension coiling in her gut. "Oh, just a friendly chat. I've heard whispers about your little project with the Zathari. Fascinating work, really. But you know how these things go, some secrets are better kept hidden," Malia said, her smile widening. "What are you implying?" Lyra shot back, her anger flaring. "Let's just say there are those who believe the knowledge you're tampering with should not fall into the hands of someone as naive as you." Malia's eyes glinted with challenge. But I'd be happy to discuss a partnership. After all, two heads are better than one, especially when it comes to the future of reproduction. Lyra's resolve hardened. I'm not interested in your games. You'll have to find another pawn. Malia's demeanor shifted, the air thickening with menace. I was hoping you'd see the potential in collaboration, Lyra. But if you insist on going solo, just remember that the Ambrosian Collective is always watching. We have resources, connections. Your precious research could disappear overnight. The transmission cut off, leaving Lyra seething with a mix of fury and fear. Theo, who had been quietly observing, approached with concern etched on his face. What was that about? Malia is trying to intimidate me. She thinks she can scare us into submission, Lyra replied, her voice trembling with emotion. But she doesn't understand the importance of what we're doing. We can't let them intimidate us, Theo said firmly, his hands clenched into fists. We need to prepare. If they want to play games, we should show them we're not afraid. Lyra nodded, adrenaline coursing through her veins. We need to strengthen our defenses, secure the lab, safeguard the artifact. If Malia thinks she can take this from us, she has another thing coming. As they strategized, Lyra felt the weight of the artifact beside her, its glow a beacon of hope amid the encroaching shadows. This was no longer just about discovery, it was a battle for the future of interspecies understanding. And she would fight to protect it, no matter the cost. The tension within Zenith Station had escalated, permeating the hallways like an electrical storm on the verge of unleashing its fury. Lyra and Theo worked tirelessly, fortifying their lab with security protocols and contingencies designed to outsmart the Ambrosian Collective. Their late nights blurred together, fueled by caffeine and a sense of urgency that thrummed through the air. One evening, while Theo analyzed surveillance footage from the lab, Lyra's focus remained fixated on the artifact. Its mesmerizing glow had become a source of comfort and dread, a constant reminder of the delicate balance between wonder and danger. She felt a connection to it, as if it pulsed in time with her heartbeat, whispering secrets of alien life that begged to be unearthed. Lyra, you need to see this, Theo called from the computer terminal, his voice cutting through her thoughts. She rushed over, curiosity piqued. The screen flickered to life, displaying grainy footage from a security camera located near the storage bays. A group of figures cloaked in shadows moved stealthily, their intentions unmistakable. The Ambrosian Collective, Lyra whispered, her stomach nodding at the sight, looks like they're scouting the area, Theo said, zooming in on the figures. If they're this bold, they must be planning something big. Lyra crossed her arms, her mind racing. We need to alert Voss. He may not like us, but he can't ignore this threat. No. We can't involve him yet, Theo insisted, his voice low. If Malia catches wind of it, she'll twist it to her advantage. We need to take matters into our own hands. The urgency in his voice ignited a fire within Lyra. Fine. What do you propose? Let's set a trap. We can feign vulnerability, draw them in, and catch them in the act. It'll give us leverage and expose their intentions, Theo suggested, determination sparking in his eyes. Let's do it, Lyra replied, her heartbeat quickening. But we have to be careful. We can't let our guard down. As the plan took shape, they began meticulously preparing the lab for their ruse. They staged the artifact in plain view, creating the illusion of a careless oversight while reinforcing the perimeter with hidden surveillance devices. Every step felt like threading a needle, balancing on the edge of danger while keeping their ambitions alive. The next evening, shadows descended upon Zenith Station. Lyra and Theo hid in a secluded corner of the lab, their breaths barely audible against the backdrop of the station's hum. Hours passed in tense silence, their eyes glued to the entrance, hearts pounding in unison. Finally, the door slid open, and the Ambrosian Collective crept in, led by Malia. The dim light reflected off her crimson hair, casting an eerie glow around her. So predictable, she murmured, her voice dripping with disdain. Did you really think you could keep this to yourselves? Lyra's grip tightened around a hidden device, heart racing. "We knew you'd come," she whispered to Theo. "Just stay calm." As Malia and her cohort inched closer to the artifact, their movements slick and furtive, Lyra felt a surge of adrenaline. This was the moment they had prepared for. In a heartbeat, Lyra activated the lab's defense system, a series of blinding lights erupting around the room, disorienting Malia and her team. "Now!" Lyra shouted, lunging forward to confront them. Chaos erupted, shadows clashing against the backdrop of brilliant light. The stakes had been raised, and the echoes of ambition reverberated throughout the station, signaling that the battle for the future had truly begun. The air crackled with tension as Lyra and Theo emerged from their hiding place, the blinding lights casting wild shadows across the lab. Malia and her team stumbled backward, caught off guard by the sudden onslaught. For a moment, they were disoriented, and Lyra seized the opportunity to confront her adversary, Malia. Lyra shouted, her voice steady despite the chaos. "You underestimated us. This isn't just about the artifact anymore. It's about survival." Malia recovered quickly, her composure reasserting itself like a lioness shaking off the remnants of surprise. "Survival? Is that what you call this? You're playing a dangerous game, Lyra. You think you can outsmart me?" She glanced at her team. Their expressions shifting from shock to determination. "You're the one in over your head," Lyra replied, her eyes narrowing. "This artifact holds secrets that could change everything, and I won't let you exploit it for your own gain." A slow, mocking smile spread across Malia's face. "Change everything? You're naive. You don't understand the true power of what you're toying with. It's not just a tool for reproduction, it's a weapon." "Enough with the theatrics," Theo interjected, stepping forward. "We know what you want, and we won't let you have it." Suddenly, Malia raised a hand, signaling her team. "Secure the area," she commanded, her voice sharp. The two members moved to flank Lyra and Theo, while Malia herself approached the artifact, her eyes gleaming with greed. "You're protecting something that doesn't belong to you," she said, her tone dripping with contempt. "You don't know the lengths I'll go to reclaim what's rightfully mine." Lyra felt a cold chill at Malia's words. This was no longer just a battle for knowledge, it was a clash of wills, a fight for the very future of interspecies relations. "If you want it, you'll have to go through us," Lyra replied, her heart pounding. "Very well," Malia sneered, "but you won't win." As Malia lunged for the artifact, Lyra's instincts kicked in. She activated a secondary defense mechanism, releasing a dense cloud of smoke that enveloped the lab, obscuring vision and creating chaos. Alarms blared, their wails piercing the air, and the room descended into a tumult of confusion. "Get back!" Lyra shouted, her voice echoing through the haze. She grabbed Theo's arm, and together they maneuvered toward the exit, aware that this was their chance, but just as they reached the door, Malia's voice rang out, cold and commanding. "Stop them! Don't let them escape!" The remaining members of the collective surged forward, but Lyra and Theo were quicker, pushing through the exit and sprinting down the corridor. The sound of footsteps echoed behind them, the hunt now fully underway. "Where do we go?" Theo gasped, glancing over his shoulder. "To the control room," Lyra replied, her mind racing. "We need to lock them out and access the main systems. We can't let them have any information about the artifact." As they rounded the corner, a sudden thought struck Lyra. She couldn't let her fear dictate her actions. They had the upper hand now, but only if they used it wisely. "Theo, we need to turn the tables. Let's set a trap of our own." He nodded, determination hardening his features. "I'm with you. Let's make them regret ever underestimating us." The shadows danced around them as they hurried toward the control room, their hearts pounding in sync with the rhythm of battle. The stakes had never been higher, and in this clash of ambition and desperation, Lyra felt the pulse of destiny guiding her forward. They were no longer just defenders of knowledge, they were warriors in a fight for the future, a future that was worth every risk. Lyra and Theo burst into the control room, the heavy door slamming shut behind them with a resounding thud. The room was dimly lit, illuminated by the glow of countless screens displaying vital data from across Zenith Station. They could hear the muffled sounds of chaos outside, the commotion of the Ambrosian collective as they regrouped. Quick! Lock the door, Lyra urged, her fingers dancing over the control panel. Theo rushed to assist, activating the reinforced security measures that would buy them precious time. As the door sealed shut, Lyra glanced at the monitors. We need to disable their access to the mainframe. If Malia gains control, she'll exploit everything we've worked for. On it. Theo replied, his fingers flying over the keyboard. The whir of machinery filled the air as he navigated through layers of security protocols. It's going to take a few minutes. We have to hold them off until then. Lyra nodded, determination coursing through her veins. Let's set up a perimeter. If they breach this room, we'll need every advantage. She grabbed a couple of devices from the nearby workbench, preparing to use the lab's advanced technology as a defense. Suddenly, the door shuddered violently, the sound of pounding fists echoing through the steel. You can't hide in there forever, Lyra. Malia's voice cut through the chaos like a knife. You're only delaying the inevitable. Is that so? Lyra replied, a smirk creeping onto her face. You underestimate our resolve. We've got what you want, and we're not letting go. Then let's see if you're brave enough to back that up, Malia taunted, and Lyra could hear the collective regrouping outside, plotting their next move. As Lyra and Theo prepared their defenses, the door suddenly buckled under the force of a powerful blow. They're coming in. Theo shouted, his voice edged with panic. Remember the gas we prepared? Lyra suggested, her heart racing. I'll activate it when they breach. Theo nodded, the tension palpable in the air. They could hear Malia issuing commands to her team, their voices sharp and urgent. The door splintered further, and the frantic countdown began in Lyra's mind. With one final, thunderous impact, the door gave way, crashing open. Shadows poured into the room, figures darting forward. Lyra pressed the button, releasing a thick cloud of gas that billowed out like a tempest. The Ambrosian collective staggered back, coughing and stumbling. Malia, however, pushed through, her eyes blazing with fury. You think you can stop me with a little smoke? She roared, her voice defiant. I've faced worse. Theo grabbed Lyra's arm. We need to make our move now. Together, they launched a barrage of defensive measures. Lyra unleashed a series of EMP blasts that disrupted the collective's equipment, sending sparks flying. Theo activated the station's security drones, which whirred to life, circling around them like a swarm of vigilant sentinels. Back off. Theo shouted, brandishing a makeshift weapon. The drones hovered menacingly, targeting the intruders with precision. Malia advanced, her expression a blend of rage and determination. You're playing a losing game, Lyra. This isn't just about the artifact, it's about power. Then let's see who wields it better, Lyra replied, adrenaline coursing through her. With a swift motion, she redirected the drones toward Malia, who narrowly dodged the first wave. In the chaos, Lyra caught sight of the artifact, glowing ominously in the corner of the room. It pulsed as if responding to the turmoil, and a thought sparked in her mind, let's end this. Lyra shouted to Theo, her voice fierce. We use the artifact against them. As they coordinated their plan, the room filled with the echoes of clashing wills and desperate hearts. Lyra felt the weight of her choices, her ambition, and her fight for a future that held both promise and peril. This was the moment they had prepared for, a final stand against an adversary who had underestimated the strength of unity and resolve. Together, they would fight to reclaim their future.